Well, happy Tuesday to you. We're going to continue down the path of these mergers that are happening, and what I see is these massive changes in the geospatial industry. I think these mergers represent what's been happening quite quietly in the background for some time. So I want to talk about GIS in this one, and actually I want to talk about a merger that happened which kind of went under the radar. NV5 bought 𝐒𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐻 Geospatial, and that was a really big deal in the GIS industry, I think. In fact, there are wider implications that actually touch on the 𝐒𝐫𝐫𝐫𝐲 acquisition or merger that I spoke about over the weekend. So let's dive into this one. I think that if you look at the GIS industry today, it's in sort of a state of change, as is the broader geospatial industry. I think that we have a sort of a fragmented marketplace, and I'll broaden this to the sort of the geospatial world. GIS there are lots of service providers out there. They're all competing with one another. They've all got their own sort of secret sauce they come in with, but there's a lot of providers out there that are on the GIS, in the GIS world, as there are with remote sensing as well. So a lot of guys selling data to customers, a lot of guys selling platforms and solutions to customers. So we're in that place where highly fragmented, and we're usually selling in to different parts of the ecosystem within organizations. So GIS and remote sensing are not places where there's a broad enterprise approach to this. It's often sold into the veg management guides or the GIS department or the planning group. It's often into these isolated groups. So again, we've got a fragmented market, which is internally in the customers selling into fragmented as well. The result of that is a lot of companies that are in the geospatial space, and again, my focus is a little bit more on GIS at the minute, but we can broaden it, are service companies that are challenged to grow. Some are building products and they're seeing benefits from building products, but in large part, that's the place that we're looking at. We're also talking about somewhat frustrated customers. Customers tend to, and it's that I hope you're amused by the animation I put in front of this, because customers have multiple salespeople coming in to talk to them about different pieces of the puzzle. Data guys here, platform guys here, point solution guys there. They are frustrated. In fact, in single organizations, in some of the bigger organizations, you've got multiple salespeople, not coming from different groups, but from within the same company. So it's a difficult place for customers as well. I'm going to argue, particularly when one looks at some of the acquisitions, and the 𝐒𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐻 NV5 one is a terrific example of this. So we're moving towards a world of one-stop shops. So what does that mean? It actually means one salesperson in the room. It means one person that can talk end-to-end about end-to-end solutions, no longer about just buying data from these guys, software from these guys, a platform from those guys. It's about this holistic end-to-end approach. You have a problem as a customer, we as your solution provider can take you from the start to the very end. We can take you from the beginning to the final destination. We can help solve your problem internally without having to pull on other people. So it simplifies the customer journey, and it has wide implications for those companies in the geospatial space. There are two in particular. When I think about the 𝐒𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 NV5 potential, it's big. I think there's others that are sort of following in the same trend. We're going to see a lot more of this in the future. So guys that are in investment and M&A should be taking careful note of this. But for that merger, the potential is, first of all, to actually take from the smaller guys. So I think that there's an opportunity for these type of mergers for one company to come in, and actually some of the smaller companies that are trying to knock on the door, they will lose out to this. So I think that there'll be a benefit to the big guys of taking over that business from the smaller guys. I also think, and this is a more broad conversation within the world of GIS. GIS, again, as I started the conversation, is still not really an enterprise solution, nor would I say is geospatial. Again, it goes to different departments. This merger, or these types of mergers, give these companies an opportunity to talk more broadly about the benefit of geospatial, location intelligence, whatever you want to call it. So I think in terms of growth, there is an opportunity here to talk across the enterprise about benefits of what this stuff can bring, what this technology and data can bring. So there are really two aspects to this, which I think are really sort of growth drivers for the 𝐒𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 NV5s of this world. I think there's a note of caution to add to this as well. I've worked and seen this before where acquisitions are seemingly beneficial, but they look good on the balance sheet. But actually to merge two companies together that are different cultures, from different backgrounds, from technology, is not an easy thing to do. So it takes really strong leadership with solid strategies to make that work. So it looks good on paper, but the execution is critical. And again, it's a leadership question there. So I'm going to lead into tomorrow's talk. I mentioned again the Bentley Cesium merger, which is a little bit outside of this conversation, but there is a place where I'll call it the collision of the giants. If one remembers, NV5 Geospatial is primarily a remote sensing company. So they collect LiDAR, for example, to build 3D point clouds, etc. That's a place where the Cesium Bentley world is. So the question I'll cover tomorrow, just a teaser for you, is are we going to see a clash of giants as we begin to see GIS grow into AEC and into that engineering world? Will we see a direct competition between these merged companies, and what are the implications of that? So I'll talk about that tomorrow. I think there's some very interesting implications from this. As ever, if you like this talk, please follow me on LinkedIn, subscribe to the YouTube channel where I post these videos. As I say, I do a lot of hopefully thought-provoking talks on this stuff. And I'll do another one tomorrow. So again, thanks for watching today.